Hydropower is renewable. Hydropower is reliable. Hydropower is clean.
It's community owned.
Self-sustaining.
Hydropower is
Local.
Non-for-profit.
Economic.
It's just cool projects. They're cool machines.
The river being a source of obvious clean energy is a very good thing for our system, very valuable asset to have and maintain. It just seems to be one of the most friendly sources of energy we could find on this planet.
Water hydrates our bodies, saturates our gardens, and rejuvenates our natural resources. Hi, I'm Chris Milgate. I've been an Idaho Falls Power customer since 1999. And as I stand here on the banks of the Snake River, I can tell you with all certainty, water does one more thing for us. It generates electricity.
Having hydropower in this area has just been a long-standing tradition.
In 1900, pioneering engineers put a generator on an irrigation ditch. The intent was to use energy created by falling water to produce hydropower. It worked, turning Idaho Falls into one of the oldest public power communities in the Northwest.
That's not something that's available everywhere. It's a unique thing to have and to cherish.
Those first watts went to streetlights, replacing oil lamps with electrified illumination. 2 years later, the city started selling power, $1 a month for 2 lights. The meter system started a decade later. Right about the same time, the first dam and hydropower plant was built on the Snake River, the first of many modifications to the area's famous falls.
The main falls that we look at in Idaho Falls, part of that is that dam allowing the water to pass over and create a water feature in the city.
3 hydropower facilities became the hub of Idaho Falls Power in the mid-1900s. Lower Plant, City Plant where the falls are, and Upper Plant.
The advantage of hydropower, while it's a big initial investment, you don't pay for fuel. Nature takes care of that. I mean, it picks up moisture in the ocean and it drops it in snow in the Tetons or the Rockies or whatever your favorite mountain range is, and it runs downhill and it creates power.
The plants are considered run-of-river, meaning flow isn't backed up in a reservoir behind a structure, but its velocity is used as it passes through town.
Hydroelectric projects are one of the greatest generation resources we can have in a lot of ways.
The flow of the Snake River spins underwater propellers called turbines. Spinning produces energy. That energy is converted into electricity and sent above ground to a substation. From there, lines web across the city, feeding electricity into your home lightning fast, so that when you flip a switch, the lights come on.
You just see the green boxes out in front of your house. There's a wire running underground all the way to that box and then into our house. And then lights come on. We have the ability to turn it on and off and not think about it.
Turbines occasionally need maintenance. For that, the river is temporarily diverted away from the propellers.
Our maintenance on our hydro projects is really low. I mean, it'll be years and years before you have to take a machine apart and rebuild it. They function well. They keep cranking out power day in, day out. It's an amazing low level of maintenance.
This is a rare glimpse at maintenance on something that is normally underwater. Deep underground in a huge and damp cavern, men look like miniatures next to the massive machinery. Once turbine repairs are complete, this big black hole refills with river water to continue making hydropower.
Kind of mind-boggling when you look at it and you say, we can run the entire river through that one tube. At certain times of the year, the entire river goes through that tube.
As a customer-owned, nonprofit city utility, Idaho Falls makes power and sells power, nonstop, year-round, unless there's a major catastrophe. In the summer of 1976, there was a major catastrophe. The failure of Teton Dam.
The Teton Dam failure was one of the pivotal moments in hydro projects. It is their case study of what not to do.
The man-made disaster killed 11 people, rearranged miles of landscape, did $400 million worth of damage, and demolished the hydropower system in Idaho Falls. These 2 green turbines at the lower plant were the only salvageable equipment. The city had a decision to make: rebuild or be done with dams and buy power from somewhere else. The community passed a $48 million bond and rebuilt.
We are benefiting huge from those people that made those decisions to build those hydro projects back in the day. Oh, we're very fortunate today that those projects were built and we get really cheap power out of them.
In 1982, the community voted for another bond to add a 4th plant downstream of town, Gem State. It has a turbine too, but it spins at a vertical angle instead of horizontal like the other plants. It's taller too and required blasting to create this diversion channel. The removed stones piled near the river until the city built this rock garden in the early 2000s, recycling chunks of basalt as landscape features.
Anytime you get rock like that, there's value in rock that's blasted because it's big, it's solid, and it's got a lot of uses.
Idaho Falls Power also maintains public fishing holes, docks, decks, trails, and marinas for recreational use by out-of-town visitors and those who helped fund the plants in the first place, the locals.
We are owned by the voters of the city of Idaho Falls.
We work for the people. It is a community-owned power system. So as we try to provide a better system, higher reliability, better power quality, it's all for the members of the community.
Those voter-approved bonds are paid off now. 1/3 of the city's power comes from debt-free, self-generated hydropower, resulting in rates that are consistently lower than the national average.
And that generation we own offsets a lot of the cost increases that are going on nationally, so we can maintain that lower cost of power for our customers.
In 2002, Idaho Falls Power built on its history of innovation when it added fiber optic service in the city. The Idaho Falls Fiber Network provided infrastructure allowing local government and businesses access to the fastest internet possible. In 2019, Idaho Falls Fiber expanded its network so local residents can also have high-speed internet in their homes.
This is the largest open access network in the entire state of Idaho.
Idaho Falls Power connects the community to electricity, while Idaho Falls Fiber connects the community to the internet.
The city of Idaho Falls has the infrastructure with their power to bring in the fiber lines. The fiber goes into every home the same way that the power does. Data travels through the fiber optic line. It travels the speed of light. You're connected directly to that fiber line through the miles and miles of fiber through the city. And it's incredibly wonderful to be on it and to know that we, as a small city, have that option to be connected.
Connections are what make a community strong. And as Idaho Falls continues to grow, those connections will also have to grow. That's why efficiency and self-reliance will continue to lead this community's utility, Idaho Falls Power, as it lights our future.
We're in a position where we're nimble. We can probably adjust to a lot of that comes down the pike. We're well positioned for the future.